Don't touch me!
Okay, all right.
Hey, move on. Move on.
I'm not moving on.
You want to go to jail?
For what?
Obstructing? I told you to move on.
Anything.
I told you to move on. You need to move on.
Why do I need to move on?
1,
Why do I need to move on?
2, 3. Let's go.
Why you can't record?
Move. Yeah, move. Recording is not obstructing.
I'm giving you a lawful order, to move on. I'm giving you a lawful order
I'm in
to
public.
move
I'm not
on.
doing anything.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You want to go to jail tonight?
For what?
Obstructing. I told you
Obstructing
don't
what?
ask to move.
For what?
We're doing an investigation. Somebody's in a
You
fight.
can do an investigation all day long.
Do you live here? Are you
Yeah.
an idiot?
No, I'm not. Are you an idiot? Do you
Are you
live
serious?
here?
I
Yeah.
live here. I do live here.
Yeah.
You want to go to jail?
For what?
Obstruct.
I'm not
Let's go.
obstructing anything.
Let's go.
What's that, dude? You stop.
Stop.
I'm not
You
doing
need to
anything.
stop right
Stop
now.
doing what?
Get off of him! Get off of him! That is so grimy. He was just recorded. That's not okay. He did not do nothing to the officer. That's not okay. That is not okay. We gotta do it. We gotta do it. I got a good lawyer. He didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing.
Let's have your hands.
For what?
We got a lawyer. It don't even matter. All he did was record this camera. We got a good lawyer. He didn't do shit but record. We got a good lawyer. We got a good lawyer. I gotta tell me
Listen to what? What am I supposed to do?
Hey, we got a good lawyer.
I'm allowed to record people in public.
He was recording them arresting a black girl. That's it. That's what they do. You like to get recorded. Why they on that man like that? They got money. They got good lawyers.
Yes, sir. Uber on the way. So when am I supposed to be arrested?
I'm not intoxicated. If you guys... I could move on. Move on for what? I'm allowed to record and talk.
Why are you doing this?
Why am I doing what? Why are you doing this?
You're playing stupid.
Why are you doing this?
You are
You're playing
playing
stupid. I'm not doing anything. I was recording in public.
Why would you?
Why are you doing this? Why wouldn't I record in public? Because people like you don't think I'm allowed to.
People like me.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That means somebody who comes out here and tries to arrest somebody for recording in public, which is not illegal. You got your camera going?
What's that?
I'm trying to I already got to
Well, a Valley man arrested over the weekend for filming Metro in the process of making an arrest ends up filming his own arrest. 13 Action News reporter Marty Glazer is downtown on 4th and Fremont with the latest tonight.
You want to go to jail?
Kelly Patterson is the man behind the lens. He calls himself a police accountability activist.
Y'all just jumped on me, threw me into the street, and handcuffed me.
For 5 years, Patterson says he's been part of Nevada COPBLOCK.
It's a clear and neutral record of what exactly happened. So if the cops are in the right, it shows that also.
And as for what he says happened downtown on Saturday,
It's something that I didn't see coming at all. I have bruised ribs, I have a sprained elbow, and I had a knee injury where if I walk, it hurts.
retired police lieutenant and 13 Action News crime and safety expert Randy Sutton says COPBLOCK, the group that Patterson is part of, is notorious for antagonizing cops.
There was apparently some interaction that took place before what we saw in this video, because there was a reference made to it when the officer initially confronted the guy that had the camera.
I told you to move on. I told you to move on. You need to move on.
Why do I need to move on?
1,
Why do I need to move on?
2, 3.
Regardless of what happened prior, Sutton says the public has a right to record.
The reality is that the police cannot stop someone from videotaping an action, and that to try and do that is not in keeping of the policies of the police department.
Don't touch me! Okay, all right.
Hey, move on. Move on.
I'm not moving on.
Why you can't record?
You want to go to jail?
For what?
Obstructing? I told you to move
obstructing
on.
anything.
I told you to move on. You need to move on.
Why do I need to move on?
1,
Why do I need to move on?
2, 3. Let's go.
Why you can't record?
Yeah, move. Recording is not obstructing.
I'm giving you a lawful order,
order
to
for
move
what?
on. I'm giving you a lawful order
I'm in
to
public.
move
I'm not
on.
doing anything.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You want to go to jail tonight?
For what?
Obstructing. I told you
Obstructing
don't
what?
ask to move.
For what?
We're doing an investigation. Somebody's in a
You
fight.
can do an investigation all day long.
Do you live here? Are you an idiot?
No, I'm not. Are you an idiot? Do you
Are you
live
serious?
here?
I
Yeah.
live here. I do live here.
Yeah.
You want to go to jail?
For what?
Obstruct.
I'm not
Let's go.
obstructing anything.
Let's go.
What's that, dude? You stop.
Stop.
I'm not doing
You need
anything.
to stop right
Stop
now.
doing what?
He was just recording. That's not fair. Get off of him. Get off of him. That is so grimy. He was just recording. That's not okay. He did not do nothing to the officer. I gotta do it okay. We gotta do it. We gotta do it. I got a good lawyer.
So this poor guy is in downtown Fremont Street in Las Vegas, Nevada, when he sees somebody getting arrested. Couple people start watching. He's one of them. He pulls out his camera. Now again, he's not alone. There's other people there. But this police officer singles him out above all others. Have to think it's probably because he has a camera. And he tells him he has to move along. But this man knows his constitutional rights. He knows he has a right to record police officers in public performing their official duties. He's even able to clearly articulate those rights to this officer. This man was then thrown into the street, tackled, and arrested. He has a sprained elbow and bruised ribs. Get this. He was arrested for unlawfully being in the street and for obstruction. They throw him into the street, and then they arrest him for unlawfully being in the street. And of course, the obstruction. Now, the obstruction is very interesting, because if a police officer gives you a lawful order, you must follow it. And if you do not follow it, you're obstructing, and you can be arrested. And it's a serious charge. And it's one of those charges that when you get pulled over later for a minor traffic violation, the officer looks at your stuff and says, oh wow, he's been convicted of obstructing. And they will treat you differently for the rest of your life. So it's pretty serious. The statute says lawful order. If an order is unconstitutional, it is not lawful. What a concept. Mind blown. So, I get it. Police officers don't like to be recorded. I don't blame them. I don't want to be recorded all the time either. But if you're a police officer, you're given a lot of authority. Police officers are the most powerful members of the criminal justice system. Think about it. Police officers can not only arrest you, they can take your life. We give them a gun and we put them in very dangerous situations. And if they fear for their life, they're allowed to kill people. They don't get criminally charged for killing people in those situations. Heck, when they put themselves in the extremely dangerous situations and they escalate the situation and then they fear for their lives, they're still allowed to kill people. That's pretty clear. Pretty clear with history. We even give them the coolest guns. AR-15s, tactical shotguns, not to mention pretty awesome handguns. So they get all the latest technology, they get the coolest guns, and then they're allowed to kill people if they fear for their life. If you're given that much power, then if you're in public, performing your official duties, as a check on that power, the Constitution allows us to film. If you can't deal with that, maybe you should be doing something else. You know, you need a little more chill, right? It's not just about the guns. It's about the integrity of the criminal justice system. Because there's a lot of great police officers out there, but some of them don't tell the truth, especially when they make a mistake. I'll be very interested to read this police report and see what the officer actually writes down, because we have it on film. But occasionally, a police officer will say a little fib. And occasionally, because police officers are human, a police officer will lose their cool and maybe push the boundaries or abuse their power. Filming police is vital as a check against human nature. A check against those police officers that lose their cool. Now, this subject is very dear to me. I was arrested. I was arrested and falsely accused. I was standing by my client, a member of the Bikers for Christ, when police officers showed up in tactical gear with their big fancy guns and ordered me to leave my client's side specifically so that they could ask him questions without me there. I refused, and I was arrested for, guess what? Obstruction. I thought, hey, no big deal. I didn't do anything wrong. Then I read the police report, and my stomach dropped. Because there were things in that police report that were not true. Thankfully, someone got out their cell phone and videotaped it. That video exonerated me. That video showed that the police report was not true. I'm so grateful for this right to film police officers. Do it politely, do it safely, but please film police officers. It's for the greater good. It's a check on the system, and it just makes sense. Let me break down the law for you. Not just the law, but the history of the law. Because in 1995, the right to film police started to become clear with a Ninth Circuit case, Fortis v. City of Seattle. In that case, the court clearly established that a citizen has the right to film matters of public interest. That's very general, but that's what they said. became even more clear in the year 2000 in the 11th Circuit, in a case called Smith v. City of Cummins. Now, in that case, the court ruled that the First Amendment protects the right of citizens to film police. After that, 9 and 10 years later, the Fourth Circuit and the Third Circuit dealt with outlying issues and kind of danced around the subject. Then finally, in 2011, we got a crystal clear ruling from the First Circuit Court of Appeals in Glick v. KENNETH. And they specifically said, private citizens have the right to film officers performing their official duties in a public place. Now notice, I've only given you circuit court opinions. I would love to have given you a United States Supreme Court opinion. Of course, that would establish the highest law in the land. However, we don't have one yet. All we have are these circuits, and this is how the circuits have ruled. Now, there's a few cases, one in particular in Pennsylvania, where a federal court judge, that's the lowest level of federal court, has ruled that citizens don't have a right to film police. That is not controlling law because it's so low. Now, the ACLU has appealed that. We'll see what happens. But so far, we have 3 circuits who have very distinctly and clearly established the right to film police. And that's the controlling law, and that's what we need to deal with. I plead with you. Be careful out there. Know your rights before you invoke them. This can be a very dangerous and serious game. If you are wrong and you obstruct the police because you were wrong, you can get a criminal record that will live with you for a long time. It's not a joke. You have to do more than just watch a YouTube video. You need to know these areas of the law well enough so that you can clearly articulate them. And then politely and safely make your case when something happens. If the police are wrong, which they sometimes are, we can deal with that. We can deal with it. Okay. But what we can't deal with are people who think they know they're right, but they're not because they didn't really do their homework enough. So get good information, learn it, know it well enough to articulate it, be polite, be happy, and be safe. And God bless.
Kelly Patterson, founder of Nevada COPBLOCK and editor of this website, was spending his weekend doing what he usually does, filming the police on Fremont Street in downtown Las Vegas. That's when Patterson witnessed Las Vegas Metro Police Department (LVMPD) officers about to effect an arrest on a woman and pulled out his camera. See video above. As you can see in the video, it appears that Patterson is a safe distance away from the arrest/officers, but for whatever reason a lagging LVMPD officer comes over to him demanding he leave. Patterson asks questions to the unknown and aggressive LVMPD officer about how his actions are criminal, but to no avail. Abruptly during the exchange, he's arrested on bogus charges of obstructing a police officer and obstructing a vehicle in the roadway after the officers arresting him threw him into the road. While that seems ridiculous in itself, the comments made by retired Las Vegas Police Lieutenant Randy Sutton are also pretty absurd. According to 13 Action News, Sutton said, "COPBLOCK, the group that Patterson is part of, is notorious for antagonizing cops. There was apparently some interaction before what we saw in this video, because there was a reference made to it when the officer initially confronted the guy who had the camera," Sutton said. While Sutton said this, and the news aired it with nicely edited footage, see below, you can see from the footage above that Patterson and the LVMPD officer had no interaction until the officer demanded Patterson leave the area. which is a violation of his right to record, especially since there was no danger or interference going on. COPBLOCK being notorious for antagonizing cops is also completely irrelevant. Police have to arrest people based on their actions, not the reputation of a group they are affiliated with. An affiliation that the cop who started this incident and then assaulted and illegally arrested Patterson likely wasn't even aware of. Thankfully, Sutton didn't go full copsucker and recovered by saying, "The reality is police cannot stop someone from videotaping an action, and in doing that is not in keeping up with the policies of the police department." The question now is the same as it's always been after such wrongful arrests. Will the officer learn and be held accountable for his actions? Of course, cops are investigating cops on this matter. So, a fair review will be produced in a timely manner, I'm sure. Meanwhile, Patterson spent 24 hours in the local jail, faces 2 charges and possible injury from the interaction. Thankfully, Stephen P. Stubbs, a local Las Vegas attorney, has decided to represent Patterson in his legal matters with the city.